Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a regression session that I'm going to be doing with a lady who will be revisiting memories that relate to her childhood and also to the relationship with someone in her life that is no longer alive. And one of the interesting things that I find about regression is that you're able to visit a specific moment in the past from a different perspective. And one of the key things that can be really powerful in regression is going back to a moment in the past that had an original meaning, and with new knowledge and new wisdom that we get with experience, we can go back to the same moment and see it in an entirely different way. And by giving a new meaning to an old event can completely transform the emotion we relate to that. And not just the emotion in the moment, but the ripple effect of allocating a new meaning to a powerful moment. So we're going to visit 3 different moments in this lady's life that will enable her to tap into and associate into positive emotions that relate to love and connection for someone that isn't around anymore, but also to give new meaning for childhood memories that weren't necessarily so positive. And also, one of the things I love about memory is that sometimes we have beliefs about our past that while we have the beliefs, we see the world through the lens of that particular belief. And if we have a new belief that we link to the past, suddenly it changes all those memories we have about the past. And this is what we'll be working in this particular session. So if you're listening to this podcast now, get yourself comfortable. Ideally listen on headphones, in a place where you won't be disturbed. Think about your childhood and follow my suggestions to tap into particular moments of your past that perhaps you can make a change that will actually influence your present and your future. So find a comfortable place, sit back and relax. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any tension to slowly leave your body. With each and every breath, find yourself by just 1% going deeper and deeper, relaxed. And occasionally, while I'm talking, either in your environment or my environment, your conscious may pick up on a sound. You may notice something. And in a strange and contradictory way, the more that your conscious mind is distracted, the better able I am to influence your subconscious mind. Because so much of what you do isn't conscious. Rarely do you blink consciously. Most of your breathing is on autopilot. Your heart beats faster when it needs to and slower when it doesn't. And so much of what you do, what you think about, is your unconscious making choices for you to enable your conscious mind to pay attention to those things that you feel are relevant in that moment. I want you to breathe in that feeling of resourceful relaxation, and as you exhale, feel how good it feels to release that tension, to release any stress, that any worries or anxieties that you may have leave your body in your outward breath, taking you deeper and deeper relaxed, noticing particularly the relaxation in your eyelids. And with your eyes closed, noticing they feel heavier and heavier, finding it easier to swallow, finding it easier to breathe deeply in and out through your nose. That's right, deeper and deeper, relaxed. And as your body relaxes, imagine that your mind and your imagination is becoming more alert. That's right, and I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine visiting a future, perhaps in a parallel universe, a future in which technology has advanced so much that it is possible to read thoughts, to scan the brain and go back and access memories in high definition, projected on a movie screen or even a hologram. And I want you to imagine that you exist in that future. I want you to imagine walking down streets towards a large building. And as you approach that large building, I want you to get a sense that inside is this type of technology, the technology to go back in time and not just see memories, but re-experience memories. Climb the steps to this building, open the door, walk in to a large room with exposed brickwork. It's an old building, but the technology inside looks very futuristic. And one of the things that catches your eye is a flotation tank. An ultra-futuristic flotation tank that has no roof, no lid, no top. And I want you to get a sense that this flotation tank is filled with minerals, salts. And in the same way that people can go to certain seas and float on the water, I want you to imagine that this flotation tank is so thick with minerals and salts that it's almost like you're resting on top of the water rather than submerged within it. And I want you to imagine that you're wearing whatever clothing is appropriate to enter this flotation tank. And this flotation tank is filled with warm, salty water. And as you climb in, feel how good it feels to just rest, feeling weightless on this mineralized water. And you're offered sensors, patches that are placed on your forehead and your temple that are able to scan your brain, to read your thoughts, and to turn your thoughts into visual imagery. So an observer could see your thoughts in the same way that you experience your thoughts. And you're offered a sedative in whichever format you would like, a pill, a drink, and it makes your body feel so deeply deeply relaxed. Not just your body, but the neural pathways in your brain, so that you're able to fluidly access memories that may have been long forgotten. And there you are, the sedative starting to take effect. These sensors on your head, lying back in this flotation tank, designed to facilitate a journey through memory. And perhaps you can imagine that I'm there, nearby, speaking into a microphone. And I'm counting down from 10 to 1, and with each descending number, your body will go deeper and deeper. Relax. 10. Feeling tension being released around your eyelids and forehead. 9. Feeling that relaxation spreading into your jaw. Finding it easier to breathe, easier to swallow. That's it. 8. That sense of relaxation going into your neck, your shoulders, taking you deeper and deeper. Relaxed. Now. 7. Melting away any tension as that relaxation goes down into your arms. Those arms that are feeling weightless on top of that water. Supporting your weight, you don't need any tension here. All the way down to your fingers. 6. Deeper and deeper relaxed. Deeper breaths. Deeper. Relax now, that's it. And as you breathe in that warm feeling of relaxation, even your internal organs are relaxing. Your lungs relax now. Your heart relaxes. Your stomach, even your gut, your liver, your kidneys, they all relax purposefully. 5 and then 4, drifting down now, past the solar plexus into the gut. 3 down into the legs, feeling weightless on that water. 2 and 1. So deeply relaxed, you're drifting off into a deep, unconscious sleep now. And in this state, imagine that you're going on a journey through memory. Your destination, a place and time that you've been before. And to reach it, all you have to do is follow my voice. And I want you to go all the way back. Your unconscious mind knows where. To a time in your childhood where you experience kindness. Like an oasis in the desert. I want you to go back to that time. And the true definition of kindness is when people are nice when they don't need to be nice. They're not trying to get something, not trying to influence, doing something out of a spirit of generosity, love, connection, selflessness. And when you're back at that point in time, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to feel what it feels like to be in the body of a child. You remember how it felt. Look at your hands, look at your feet, how small they are. Notice how you breathe different. And notice your surroundings, the clothes you're wearing. And you're seeing things you haven't seen in a long while. Surrounded by things that evoke memories, feelings. And one of those feelings is how it feels to be treated well. And maybe you can see someone there that is the source of this kindness. Perhaps their smile, their eyes. You can always see kindness in the eyes. Their mannerisms, their words. And I want you to reconnect with that feeling. Because in the same way that an oasis in the desert means that life can exist in a barren place, sometimes small amounts of kindness can act like sunshine and rainwater to a delicate flower that is normally in the shade. I want you to get a sense of what this meant to you back then, this feeling of kindness. How it changed you. Because all these things don't exist in a vacuum. There is a ripple through time, a legacy that's created. That kindness that you received inevitably influenced how you treated others in your life. I want you to connect to that feeling that it all started in moments like this. And back then as a child, maybe you didn't have the words or the understanding, but I want you to imagine that you've got your experience now in the body of that child. And I want you to share with this person what it meant to you. And maybe this person isn't even alive anymore, but I want you to share the words that you would have liked to have said if you'd have known what impact this kindness had on you. And notice their reaction. That's right. Because in sharing these words, you're reflecting this kindness back, making this person feel how good it feels to do something nice, not out of obligation or pressure or a role. In fact, this person might be doing the opposite of the role they were meant to play. And I want you to notice that by sharing what it meant to you to receive this kindness with this person, that it fills you up with gratitude, with joy, with a deep feeling of connection and meaning. And when this person has received your kind words, it's time to say goodbye, and I want you to say goodbye in whichever way is appropriate. Perhaps a hug, a handshake, just a wave goodbye, you choose. And when you've said goodbye, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And now it's time to visit a different time. Only this time you'll see yourself as if you're someone else. I want you to go back to a time in your childhood where you thought you did something right, but you were criticized or perhaps even punished for it. And I want you to see the moments that led up to that. Perhaps you're just a stranger, an observer, seeing what happened. A vulnerable child that really needed help, that needed support, that needed empathy and understanding. See that child and follow that journey. And I want you to recognize the qualities in that child. They were doing the best they could in a difficult situation. They had the intelligence, the strategic thinking to solve a problem using intelligence and memory and communication. And as you look at that child, I want you to get a sense of admiration, deep respect, a sense of pride. And then follow what that child did. That they thought they were doing something right. And yet, there it was. Perhaps misinterpreted. Perhaps conclusions were jumped to. Maybe there wasn't even a willingness to find out what really happened. And there you are as an observer, a silent observer, not detected by anyone there at that time, just hearing what was said, looking at the facial expressions, the reactions of this confused or perhaps sad or disappointed child. A child that perhaps was expecting recognition, but instead experienced something else. And I want you to get a sense that this child was perhaps also making evaluations about what was going on. That beliefs were formed in that moment that would have a ripple effect throughout this child's life. And yet the child didn't have access to the full information of what was going on. I want you to get a sense that maybe that child jumped to conclusions about motives, about how important they were in the world, that weren't necessarily true. And maybe this child was punished. Maybe there was a sense of injustice. And I want you to get a sense that you can see both sides as to what was happening here. And then I want you to imagine that this child is sent to their room or sent away. They're in a private place, but I want you to imagine you can be there with that child. The first thing I want you to do is to tell that child that you know what really happened. I want you to tell that child that you are impressed. Recognize the thought process, the problem solving. Recognize that they made a situation not of their making the best it could have been, and it could have been so much worse had it not been for what they did. Tell that child that you're proud, impressed. But I want you to share something else with that child, because you're in a unique position to know how this child's life progresses from this point forward. Things that this child doesn't know. This child will be blindsided time after time after time, where things happen that they don't expect and don't deserve. And I want you to give this child advice that you never received at this age, that may help this child navigate the tough times ahead. And when you've given that child useful, practical advice that they can use in the right way? Let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to give this child something more than just advice. If you could give this child any resource that you have now but you didn't have back then, I want you to give this child that resource now. And it could be anything. Resilience, optimism, self-belief, the ability to value yourself. And you get to choose what resource you give. And I want you to imagine this resource in a glowing ball of energy, a symbol of something useful and resourceful that will always exist within that child, that will help deal with challenges and adversity and loneliness perhaps. And if the child accepts it, the child will take that ball of energy, hold the energy to their heart and absorb it within them, therefore having this resource forever from that point onwards. And when the child has accepted this resource, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. But also this child will give you something you had back then and you've lost. Only you will know what that is. But back then you had something in abundance that you've forgotten. And maybe it's something with your imagination. Maybe it's a thirst for learning, the ability to solve problems. There will be something back then that this child had that you have forgotten you're so good at. And just as you've given a ball of energy to this child gives you a glowing ball of energy. And if you know what this energy represents, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And again, you accept it, hold it to your heart, absorb that energy, knowing that it will ripple through time, throughout your childhood, into your adult life, still being there in your present and your future. And then it's time to leave, knowing that this child has a new perspective on that situation. Perhaps she will judge people less harshly, or at least see it with a new perspective. And while we can't change the past, we can change the meaning we give to the past. And the moment you found an empowering meaning to give to that past event, it's time to leave. And I want you to hug this vulnerable child. Tell this child that they are loved, and then say goodbye. And when you're ready to leave, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And now it's time to go into a different time, a different memory. I want you to imagine traveling through time to a specific point where you are 28 years old. I want you to imagine meeting someone, being with someone that you know doesn't have long to live. Remember where you were back at that time. You can see the furniture around you. Feel how good it feels to be in a body of someone that age. Remember what you were thinking about at the time. Pay attention to your surroundings. And then I want you to imagine, perhaps, an intuitive feeling to go somewhere or be with someone. Maybe you even hear your name being called. And I want you to go to that person. And when you can see their face, see their eyes, see that smile, I want you to notice how you feel. All those emotions. And make that scene bigger and brighter, more intense, like you're there. You are there, in that moment. And I want you to feel the true meaning of what's being done in this moment. Because although perhaps not much was said, you know what it means. And you were able in that moment to take that meaning and then think about your entire past with new eyes, a new perspective. Perhaps that was your first experience of the impact of changing a single belief, knowing that you were loved, that you mattered. And there you are in that moment. The foundation of a conviction, an idea. A seed was planted that day that took root instantly and grew to become a giant oak tree that could never, ever die. And I want you to think back to that moment and imagine that more words were said than were actually said. Hear the words that could have been said but weren't. And when you've heard what needed to be said, let me know by nodding your head. And now it's time for you to say the things you wish you would have said. Just let it all out. Say what needed to have been said. And maybe one of those words is, I forgive you. And I want you to imagine physical touch, a hug, the feeling of a hand on your hand, the look of those eyes. I want you to get a sense of how profound this feeling is and what it means to you, what it's always meant to you. And I want you to give one new meaning to this experience that you hadn't thought of until now. Your unconscious mind knows what it is, it's always known. You just didn't piece the puzzle together yet. And the moment your unconscious mind has figured it out, the meaning that was always true that you just didn't realize until now, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And in the same way that a seed was planted all those years ago, a new seed is planted now that is also taking root. A new belief that will become a conviction that becomes unbreakable. Just enjoy spending time in this moment with this person. No need to say anything. No need to hear anything. Just being there, feeling that connection that comes from just holding eye contact. You accept them and they accept you. That feels good. And I want you to scan your body for where all these incredible, powerful emotions feel like they're springing from. And just point to that location. Every river starts with a spring. It has a source. And you feel these emotions in every cell of your body, but they start from there, they start from the source. And whenever you want to feel these emotions, you can remember this moment to tap into this feeling of significance, of love, of importance, of connection. And then it's time to say goodbye. Knowing that you can return to this moment whenever you want in the future. It's not a goodbye forever, it's a goodbye for now. And say goodbye verbally, physically, emotionally. And when you're ready to leave, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And I want you to imagine leaving this place, going back to that future flotation tank, feeling your body in the water, feeling that you're awakening from a deep, deep sleep, taking off those sensors from your forehead and your temple, climbing out of the flotation tank, drying off your body and putting on whatever clothes you were wearing before. But you leave the flotation tank feeling different than the version of you that entered. Feeling that changes that took place in the past have rippled throughout your entire life, all the way up to the present and all the way into your future. You leave this old room with futuristic technology, walking down the streets, realizing that this is just a thought within a thought, a dream within a dream, and that actually your physical body is somewhere else. But before we go back to that place, there is one final suggestion that your unconscious mind can accept. That your best moments are not behind you. They are waiting for your arrival. Your best moments are ahead of you. And when your unconscious mind accepts that to be true as the sun will rise tomorrow morning, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And at that point, you now find yourself back in your physical body. And you can wiggle your fingers and toes to feel like you're in your body right now. Knowing that as you breathe in and breathe out, you can feel the air in your nostrils. And very shortly, I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling highly resourceful, optimistic for the future, with a new perspective on your past that gives new meaning and purpose to your present and your future. You will awaken with love in your heart and forgiveness in your past. And you will awaken ready to take on the new challenges that await. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox. the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.